Hi, I'm Diane.
Jeff.
Purcell. Doug.
Danica.
Clay.
Clay.
Rachel.
Hello, I'm Blake. I'm giving a speech about capital punishment. Capital punishment has always been a controversial subject. Both sides make for an ample argument. The group opposing the death penalty have some strong points, but I still believe there is many reasons the death penalty should be used. Defendants have more rights than their victim ever received and have no chance of killing again. The death penalty should be implemented in every state. Anti-supporters of capital punishment claim that using death penalty does not deter criminals from acting again. In fact, some criminologists claim they have statistical evidence that prove when an execution is announced to the public, more murders take place in the week that follow. Death penalties supporters disagree. Although there is no scientific proof it deters crime, it does make a difference for the prosecution and the criminal's opportunities. The idea of the death penalty can be used as a tool for the prosecutors to work out a plea bargain. This is important because between 80 and 90% of the criminal cases are plea bargains. With the threat of being sentenced to death, these plea bargains can be worked out, which is beneficial to the system. By setting a plea bargain, the case stays out of trial, which removes an enormous cost. Also, if it goes to trial, there is a chance the violent criminal will go free. The death penalty, it can serve as a deterrent to prisoners already serving a life sentence. They already are serving a life in prison, so what else can the system do if they murder someone behind the bars? If the death penalty is available, they won't think like that. There may still be some fear of the death penalty in criminals, though. In the study of 14 nations that abolished the death penalty, incidents of murders increased 7% from the 5 years before capital punishment was no longer an option. Who has rights? Anti-death penalty supporters also claim that it is inhumane to sentence someone to death. They say we have moved on from the eye for eye way of punishing criminals, and it is cruel and unusual. They say execution is just legalized murder, and we have to think of the defendant's family. They will have to see their loved ones put to death. Also, they claim that most of the criminals sentenced to death have ran out of money from the previous trial. Therefore, they are penniless when it comes time to make an appeal. Those for the capital punishment remind us that the victim has to be kept in mind when dealing with the defendant. The family and loved ones of the victim can find some closure in the death of the killer. If execution is murder, then killing someone in war is murder. In addition to that, the defendant still received many rights and opportunities that the victim never got a chance to do. Prisoners on death row get to prepare for their death, make a will, and make their last statement. The victim never got a chance to do that. When the defendant is arrested and charged, he or she is subject to their constitutional right from the government. Finally, we must remember that no one forces someone to premeditate and commit a murder. They choose to do so by their own free will. Innocent people being killed. Some of the anti-death penalty supporters claim that innocent people may be put to death by the death penalty. If they were innocent and only received a life sentence, there's a chance to fix that with the death penalty. There's no turning around. Truth is, it is very rare that the person who's going to trial didn't commit the crime these days. DNA testing is 99% effective. Also, the trial and appeals process makes it highly unlikely for an innocent person to be convicted. A 12-member jury has to vote unanimously in order for the death sentence to be given. Yet, there is still a small chance that someone innocent is being wrongly sentenced. But there are other ways to look at that. Compare the death penalty to war again. During war, the revolution, innocent bystanders are often killed. There is always a risk to be taken keeping the country safe. Both sides hold logic explanations, but in order to keep everyone safe, I believe the death penalty should be legalized in every state. It may not be proven it is deterrent, but it helps keep the already convicted in check. It is not so cruel to put a member to death. It may be primitive way of punishment, but they still get rights that the victim never were given. The victim and their family need to keep in mind when deciding how to sentence their murderer. The family doesn't need the idea that a violent person like that could be released to haunt them. Sometimes we may make a mistake by sentencing an innocent person to death, but it is unlikely with our court system and forensic tools used today. There is only a small chance for error. In order to keep murders off the street and possibly keep someone from killing another, capital punishment is the option I choose. Thank you.